Bueno, que nos conduce a lo que es Río Sucio. Sí.
Pueblito.
Que nos conduce a Río Sucio, a Pereira y a Salento, Quindío.
Sí.
Entonces esta es la carretera. Hasta cierta parte es pavimentada. Desde ese momento comienza ya lo que es trocha, lo que nosotros llamamos trocha. Carretera destapada con un poquito de dificultad. Entonces, en este momento nos vamos a dirigir pues como tal a la oficina principal, que es la oficina de la Cueva del Esplendor. Ellos son los dueños de esta reserva natural. Allá te van a tomar como los datos, te van a dar una hidratación y se van a montar con el otro grupo en el carro. ¿Listo? Para iniciar como tal el tour de la Cueva del Esplendor.
¿Y el nombre de la empresa?
Bueno, mi oficina se llama Paisajes Tour. Pues los invito a que cuando lleguen a Jardin, si necesitan alguna información en general, algún plan turístico que le permita pues como conocer a Jardin, Paisajes Tour está siempre a la orden para ustedes. Y si a Jardin no se viene, sino que se vuelve Thomas. Entonces lo espero nuevamente por estos lugares. Como vemos, Jardin es un pueblo un poco pequeño.
Sí.
Somos 17.000 habitantes.
¿Cuántos?
17.000.
Ah, ok.
¿Sí? Jardin empezó en 1863, la fundación como tal de él. El año pasado cumplimos 156 años.
I'll have to translate that later.
Como vemos, Jardin conserva todavía ese toque colonial, con un poquito pues de moderno, pero siempre conservando el toque colonial, que lo hace uno de los pueblos más atractivos.
Me gusta que no hay McDonald's y KFC, éxito.
Ajá. En Jardin tenemos el Parque Libertador, que es donde la gente llega a descansar y a encontrarse con otras personas. En Jardin está prohibido construir tercer piso. ¿Sí? Una forma que hace que cuando estés en el Parque Libertador puedas observar las montañas que nos rodean, ya que Jardin es rico en reservas naturales, en cuencas hídricas.
Y obviamente hay militares aquí.
Claro que sí.
Porque hay...
Bueno, en estos momentos ellos...
A veces hay problemas con guerrilla en esta área, ¿no? ¿O nunca?
No. Solamente a ellos los mandan a varios lugares, solamente como para estar del tipo de vigilancia. ¿Sí? Pero no significa pues que el pueblo esté pasando por problemas violentos, ¿no? Este tipo de planes turísticos. En Jardin se necesita mínimo 3 o 4 días para disfrutar todos los planes que ofrecemos, como las cabalgatas ecológicas, caminatas ecológicas, el Salto del Ángel, que es una variedad de cascadas muy hermosas, Cueva del Esplendor, tenemos parapente, el canopy y el rappel, que ya son actividades extremas. Y tenemos lo que es la cultura del café. Jardin tiene varias fincas donde hacen todo el proceso del café, mostrándole a nuestros visitantes la cultura cafetera.
Fui parapente en Jumbo, cerca de Cali, hace 3 semanas.
Sí, pero ¿primera vez?
Segunda vez.
Segunda vez. Sí.
¿Te gustan deportes extremos?
Bueno, un poquito. Pero me gustaría sí arriesgar a hacer este tipo pues de actividades también.
¿Y eso es un estadio?
Bueno, este es el estadio de Jardin. Tenemos también lo que es el colegio, que queda a una cuadra.
Uh-huh.
Y tenemos nuestro coliseo, que queda a mano derecha.
Ah, okay, so there's schools nearby, she said. Ah.
Bueno, Thomas,
Y Jardin
vamos
es
a la
más,
izquierda, por favor.
más grande que Salento, ¿cierto?
Sí, dicen que es un poquito más grande.
Sí.
Jardín pertenece a los 17 pueblos patrimoniales. O sea, que es dos de las cosas que buscan los visitantes de nuestro municipio es la riqueza de sus reservas naturales, todo el verde que nos rodea. Y otra es la tranquilidad, la amabilidad de la gente, de tomarte un café bien rico en el parque principal, y de la cultura que todavía se conserva en nuestro pueblo, como la arquitectura de sus casas y toda pues la parte de naturaleza. Eso es lo que siempre el visitante busca.
Murals. Jacqueline was born in Jardin, nací en Jardin.
Sí,
She's
nací
a
en
local.
Jardín. A Jardín se le dicen jardineños.
Jardineños.
Sí. Ya saben que siempre cuando vengan a Jardín, nuestra oficina de paisajes tour siempre estará pues a la orden. Estamos ubicados a una cuadrita del parque principal. También tenemos toda la parte de alojamiento, como cabañas, fincas campestres, toda la parte de hostales.
Voy a mencionar la empresa en mi video.
Claro.
Bueno,
Buenos días.
Gracias. Building our Jeep.
Se caminan por ahí 20.
Way we go to Cueva del Esplendor. It's about 25 minutes to drive there. Driver's name is Wilson. Group here. A couple of foreigners, including myself, and a few people from Colombia.
Ahí me disculpan, pero tocaba hacer así.
Corre de aventura, ¿no?
After a little bit of maintenance was done to the Jeep, we were on our way. Slowly but surely, we made our way through the quiet streets of Jardin, and before long, we were on the outskirts and in the rural area heading for the mountains. Before we were even 10 minutes outside of the town, we were on a dirt road and winding our way up a beautiful mountain road. We could see all kinds of different crops on the way up, from banana plants to avocado. Watch out for the horses and the caballeros. It was a little bit bumpy, but not too bad. And before long, the views were really spectacular. It is in fact possible to get to Cueva del Esplendor via motorbike or other means on your own, but at $22 Canadian or about 16 US, the tour is so affordable and economical that I think it's worth it just to leave it in the hands of the experts and the tour guide. If you do go on your own, be aware that you'll still have to pay an entrance fee because the waterfall is in fact located on private property. And if you go with a tour, you'll also receive a couple of snacks and a couple of non-alcoholic beverages as well. I'd also like to mention that once the Jeep drops everyone off, you're going to have to walk for approximately 30 minutes to the finca, which is a country house. And that walk is up and down a few hills, so you'll need to be in moderate shape. Once you're at the finca, you're going to have to walk down a whole lot of stairs. And of course, you know what that means. You're going to have to walk back up them. In case you've never been to Colombia before, the type of Jeep that we're in is the typical type of transport that's used for doing trips up into the mountains or from one small pueblo to another. You'll see these same types of Jeeps going from Salento, for instance, to Valle de Cocora. If you've never heard of Salento, Salento is very, very similar to Jardin, and another quiet and very safe tiny little town up in the mountains. That took about 40 minutes or so to get up here. I had no idea we were going to be going so way high up in the mountains, but just spectacular views, and that was almost worth the price of admission, just the Jeep ride. So I'm hoping maybe I can get the driver to stop 2 or 3 spots on the way back so I can snap a couple of quick photos, but it's beautiful up here. And away we go on the walking portion. He says it'll be about 20 minutes. Temperature's just right for hiking though. So it doesn't rain, it'd be great.
Arena de Australia. Esta es una presentación de Daniela López de acá de Colombia, Medellín.
Hola, Cristian de Bogotá.
Arre de aquí es Jardin. Para hacer, tenemos que visitar nuestro lugar, que se lleven como la mejor experiencia. Es un lugar muy bonito. Me gustaría mucho que cuando lleguemos a la cueva se metan un baño, es algo fría, hasta 7 grados.
Pues
un poco de frío, entonces. Esperemos a ver quiénes se animan a bañarse. van a salir rejuvenecidos, entonces sería genial que se pegaran un baño. Comenzamos una caminata más o menos de unos 20 minutos aproximadamente. Trataremos de hacerlo un poco rápido, no tratamos de quedarnos tan atrás. Tratamos de ir, de pronto como estamos a una altura de 2.300 sobre el nivel del mar, de pronto les ataca un poco la respiración, entonces en ese caso.
Well, we're definitely getting our exercise now. Colombians, they lied again. It's already been a good 20-minute walk, not including the walk that he told us from the Jeep. That's when he said it was going to be 20 minutes, so when we all formed as a group and the girl talked to us, then she said it's going to be 20 minutes, so it's been probably 30 minutes already, but that's why I expect. You can't fool me, Colombians. To a finca. Ooh, there's a big group down there. So I'm guessing the waterfall is, I can hear water down there, so must be where it is.
Like a little bit of lettuce and a bit of meat.
It's our little snack, tea,
Fried,
potato filled.
it had really
Not sure what this is yet. Probably an arepa.
oh my god, corn and lots of.
Hola.
Hola.
Buenos días, ¿cómo estás?
Días, bien.
Nice basic living up in the mountains with fresh air.
Minutos, media hora más o menos, ¿vale? Entonces tener en cuenta que yo les voy avisando cuando vamos saliendo, que nadie se me vaya a quedar, porque como pueden ver aquí cerramos, ¿vale?
Y no queremos que nadie quede encerrado o afuera.
Entonces los que vayan subiendo de primero me esperan para abrir la puerta, nadie se vaya a pasar por encima de la reja o por debajo de las cuerdas, ¿vale? Entonces esperamos aquí sentados mientras el guía sube y abre la puerta. ¿Vale, chicos?
Adelante.
Mira, es una flor.
Sí.
Le decimos bastoncillo rey. Muy bonita.
Sí.
Y dura, tiene como unos 3 meses.
As you can see, there's a lot of stairs, and some of them are quite steep too. Having said that, however, if you think you can handle the trip, it's well worth it. And even the journey down to the waterfall is really beautiful. Wow, we're going down a long way. It's going to be a leg burner on the way up. think this is it. Beautiful. Beautiful weeping wall. Hopefully I can get some shots without people in there. And this little waterfall is up from Cueva del Esplendor. Simply amazing spot. And one more little cascade a little higher up yet. Got some water. So I'm doing the walk back to the Jeep now, kind of ahead of everybody else, so we don't have to have a bunch of other people yakking in the video. So my conclusions and thoughts after having visited Cueva del Esplendor: definitely worthwhile doing this trip. Again, the value's really good. They gave us snacks, a bottle of water, had a guide, the drive up here and back. So for 22 Canadian, that's a pretty good deal. My only wish would be that they had let us stay there for, I'd say 15 more minutes would do it. And 15 more minutes wouldn't be a big deal in the scheme of things, I don't think. So, Paisais Tours, if you're watching this, you understand what I'm saying, please add 15 more minutes. And the other suggestion would be to have the guide be willing to say something to the people who are being really thoughtless towards the other people, and you know, just standing right in the way of everybody's photos, which is, whenever there's a group of people, it's always the case. There's always a small percentage of people who will they'll go, for instance in this case it happened, There's a couple, I'm not gonna point out who it was, but they went for a swim in the water because they just had to get photos of them swimming in the water. And that's fine, that's their choice, but they literally just stood there in everybody's way. So they'd be in everybody else's photos, and then the girl, she'd have a look at the photo and say, no, I don't like it, take some more. So they'd go back and take some more, and they literally just weren't getting out of the way. I finally had to say something, and they still didn't clue in though. You know, I'm looking at them going like this, por favor. And then finally another girl spoke up and said something, you know, and said, this guy's trying to take some photos, you know, can you, I don't know exactly what she said, but anyway, slowly, very slowly but surely, they took their time getting out of the water and still didn't really get out of the way of, you know, I'm using a wide angle lens. And, you know, when I say this, it's not that I'm expecting people to bow to my, you know, professional camera and tripod, because I have those things. It's not that I expect people to, you know, they have to get out of my way. But, you know, just have a little bit of manners and think about other people. And they were there in the water for half the time we were there, so I really had to scramble to get some shots. And I wasn't able to take the time that I would have liked to gotten a couple of the angles I wanted. And just beautiful scenery, simply stunning. Yeah, I'd love to come back here, but unfortunately on this particular little trip, I'm not going to have time, but I would definitely come back here. But anyway, going back to photos, there's a thing called photographer's etiquette. And I don't consider myself a professional photographer, even though I used to put on some workshops with some very well-known photographers around the world. And photographer's etiquette is, it's basic common sense and consideration for other people, wherein you don't walk right in front of somebody else when they're taking a photo. You wait, and if it seems like they're taking a long time, then you say, hey, can I at least get some photos in between yours, because, you know, I want to get some photos too. It's just all being considerate of other people as far as I'm concerned. So most professional photographers with their big fancy cameras, you know, will even wait for people with their little tiny little cameras and their iPhones and everything. And that's totally fine, that's fair. I do that myself when there's people who are taking all their iPhone photos. I wait patiently, but, you know, and I won't get in their way. So, you know, have consideration and do the same for, you know, everybody should be thoughtful of others, but of course that's not the way it is, so you have to deal with these things. And but anyway, don't be one of those people who's just selfish and thinking of yourself and, you know, thinking everybody else is fine with you being in their photos. Or, you know, be mindful of whether or not you're in somebody's photo. If I was there, I'd say, hey, am I out of your photo? And if I'm just looking at the waterfall, I'm gonna not stand right in the way of everybody else. But such is the way of life. And I guess the other big lesson is you just have to have patience, and more patience with people like that. And sometimes, though, you do have to speak up in order to be able to even get some shots. Who knows, they might have stayed in the water, that couple, until well, I'm sure you'll see them in the video, so you'll figure out who it is, but they probably would have stayed in there right until we were all told to leave. But anyway, great tour. Paisai's tours, give them a thumbs up too, but I'm gonna suggest adding 15 more minutes to the tour, and also tell the guide taking people down there to, you know, mention to other people to be more thoughtful of others trying to get photos, and if there are people who are just blatantly getting in the way, to say something.
So I guess that's gonna wrap up this video for Cueva del Esplendor. In case you're wondering, the walk isn't too bad. It's, you know, as long as you are in even semi-moderate shape, it shouldn't be an issue. It's not like they're rushing us to get there and back, so but yeah, just the Jeep ride on its own, spectacular. I don't know if you can, there's somebody singing back there, but it's probably a Colombian, because they spontaneously break out in song quite often. But I'll turn the camera around here as I say, wrap things up. Not bad, eh? Bienvenido a Colombia. This is why you come to Colombia. Oh, one other thing I was just going to mention, rambling on a little too long here, but I'd rank this waterfall up there with Cascada Las Delicias in San Jose del Guaviare. And if you've ever been to Mocoa, which is kind of down more towards Ecuador in the Amazon region, there's a waterfall that's kind of similar to this one that we just went to, called Ojo de Dios, which means Eye of God. And I went there last trip, and it goes through a cave almost the same way that this one does, but the surrounding scenery of this one here, way cooler. And the hole, I think, for the water to come through the cave is a little bit bigger and more prominent to get in the photo. So far more, if you're into photography, far more opportunities to get some really cool shots.
Well, I guess that my GoPro got a little bit tired of listening to my rant, and so it turned itself off before I could give my final farewell. And I guess who could blame it? But all that aside, I hope that you enjoyed this video of Cueva del Esplendor near Jardin, Colombia. And so until next time, hasta luego!
Shot.